People, if these secret docs were ever made public, Nvidia's stock would soar. Actually, yesterday wasn't a good day for the Nasdaq or for the tech industry, and it appears to have something to do with possible worries about the Nvidia earnings that will be released tomorrow after the close. One is NVDA, which has the mentality that since people can't game it, they want to sell it. The other is that revenue is simply insufficient. According to a good article in Back Market on money leaving the market today, when the Fed cuts, money usually enters the market, moves into the hot group, and then doesn't leave the not-so-hot group. In fact, it enters a little less. Thus, generally speaking, there would be some increase in 8 stocks, but the main gains would be in General Mills, Colgate, utilities, and, of course, Toll Brothers. That was not the case yesterday. What actually occurred was that all of the money left one area and went into another. Even though rates are declining, there is still insufficient revenue coming in. The 2 years where people are stuck. They adore it, so why not? However, there is a notion that as interest rates decline, people will return to the equity markets after leaving the money markets where they have been earning a respectable return compared to the previous decade. Does that really occur? Ever? Yes, it does. It has. You need corporate buybacks to be larger than they are, even though they potentially flood the share markets. They've fallen behind. After that, David, you must make abrupt rate reduction because at this time, a quarter-point rate decrease is a huge deal. You won't overwhelm the market. Individuals will not abandon money markets. No. We should also discuss this Nvidia as it's clear that everyone is worried about it. I find it absurd that one stock and one report could have such a significant impact, as there are other businesses who are successfully utilizing AI. Take Meta, for example. As you are aware, certain businesses are attempting to do GPTs. There are businesses waiting for Blackwell, as you are aware. You are aware of the huge demand. What must then occur? I'll pose the Jensen Huang question, which is, what does it mean to be so closely scrutinized and so tiny that it dominates the market? He probably didn't anticipate that. Someone sent me an email yesterday saying, I've had enough. He keeps selling a lot, so this man is costing me a lot of money, which is quite uncommon. Yes, it is. He does have a large stock market. Jens is a stock seller. He owns a great deal of stock. With a utilized position, I presume he will now be buried with it. What's the point there, really? Good job, would be the response of any estate planner. The market is unaffected by you. The component isn't being slammed down. However, I mean to imply that everything about Nvidia is currently being scrutinized. The long knives are out, but it might be because it makes sense. $3 trillion compared to $500 billion only 3 years ago, because it serves as the foundation for all of the aspirations and hopes related to artificial intelligence. AI hope, in a nutshell. All right? So this is the problem. It will, in some sense, be a reflection of the reality that those expectations and dreams will not be realized in at least the time frame that the market somehow expects, if it does not have the guidance that is anticipated or does not surpass it. I'd appreciate your analysis. One of the issues, in my opinion, is that we are unable to picture what Jensen sees. To us, it almost seems like an invisible guy, but he hasn't developed completely, because, as you may recall, Jensen frequently states, we can have robots that are not like humans, because everything is designed to be human, but you can make robots. We just don't know what to do with them yet. This is especially true when he has a team, a robot team, and a team that is based essentially on what humans are like. We don't have to wait a minute. If robots are going to bring us coffee, that's really fantastic. If they're going to bring us Starbucks, that's even better. They are able to stand in queue. Might make all the difference. Might alter. I believe that standing in line behind someone who wants a triple V cappuccino with skim milk and 5 pumps might be the whole purpose of this robot thing. In other words, it's not a question of whether this future is coming in some form, but rather of when. Jim and the markets are still attempting to deduct it from the equation. For a while, we had a huge rally because of this. The main 4 cloud service providers are expected to earn $176 billion in operating cash flow in 2025, according to Morgan Stanley's Katie Huberty, whose TR Global Tech team you like. It should be noted that the average AI capital expenditure in 2024 is approximately 40%, indicating that the hyperscalers still have the funds to spend more. Look, don't. Share price recoveries for the AI supply chain as a whole. Those are some really optimistic remarks. Incredibly optimistic. I also wanted to use it to hang my hat. My issue is that Colette Crest, the amazing CFO, dominates Jensen calls. The call has virtually little hype. There isn't much. In fact, the most optimistic Nvidia call was the most recent one. There was a slight change. But why are you even bringing that up? What do you mean then? Well, because the tone itself will be tremendously significant. You have to wait throughout this minutia call. According to Colette Crest, for example, if sufficient funds are to be raised, a massive buyback that may repurchase about 10% of the stock must be carried out. That might occur, Luca, my stream. Do you wish to switch to Apple? To put it simply, he was the one who said, "Look, I've got to accelerate the buyback," correct? I have an incredible tip that will blow your head. Rumor has it that designs for the next generation AI architecture, which has the potential to totally transform the industry, are concealed in some Nvidia files. Imagine a neural network so strong that it could solve complicated problems instantly, process information at previously unheard of speeds, and even become conscious. This kind of innovation has the potential to put Nvidia at the forefront of the AI race and boost the company's stock price. In the digital era, it would be like striking gold if these files were made public. Additionally, now let's talk about Apple. What is the significance of these Nvidia earnings that we will be discussing nonstop till they are released tomorrow? I believe they are quite significant, David. Really, I believe return to the mid-year period once more. Nvidia alone accounted for 5 percentage points of the 15% rise in the S&P. The remaining 5% of the Mag 7. The remaining 493 or 5%. Therefore, it is obvious how important Nvidia is from the standpoint of basic index weighting. But to reiterate what I said earlier, I believe we need further proof that this tailwind of AI spending and productivity improvement is materializing. Therefore, it will be more about the forecast for the future than it will be about the profits result in and of itself. The street is placing bets on significant stock movements following Nvidia's results announcement tomorrow, with bets skewed actually to the upside. The options market is pricing in a move of about 10% in either direction. Chris Murphy, Susanna's co-head of derivative strategy, is now joining us. Chris, how does this posture for Nvidia compared to previous quarters? Is one of the most actively traded earnings you will ever see, Thus, a little bit of everything is present. Selling puts on the downside would be our go-to trend if we had to pick just one. As you can see from the chart on the screen, the downside is rather offered, which indicates that some individuals have missed the Nvidia rally. Selling puts on the downside is one approach to show that they are willing to purchase on a downturn. That would be one pattern I could identify going into these earnings. But as I mentioned, you see a little bit of everything in something that trades as much as Nvidia. In the past, Nvidia was the engine powering Tesla's innovative technology. Until the business eventually created its own internal systems, these GPUs powered Tesla vehicles. These original Nvidia cards are now highly sought-after collectibles that sell for hefty prices on the illicit market. For instance, some rare models have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and one specific model is presently going for $119,000. You may get yours right now by clicking the link below. However, stock is quite limited, so move quickly.